Right, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good afternoon. We're going to speak about Tammy Abraham and, of course, an update from Damesh Sheth. He's been speaking on Sky Sports, and he was talking about the rebuild that is taking place at Arsenal, starting with Mikel Arteta, with the likes of Emile Smith-Rowe getting new contracts, the likes of Saka, and he said he expects more signings. More new players are still coming in, and the rebuild is on. Tammy Abraham, finally, here the video comes. And I told you, we will talk about Tammy Abraham in depth. And I think we're going to dive into who really Tammy is. How would Arsenal benefit from signing Tammy Abraham? Why is he expensive? Is he any better than the players we do actually have at the club? And more and more and more. Please do smash a like on the video. Do subscribe to the channel as well. Make sure you give me your opinion in the comment box. Turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss any upload and any story that I put up. Let's get the party started. So to start the party, obviously, I'll start off with the rebuild at Arsenal. So if you've been watching this channel for the past 30 days, there are names that are so familiar. AFC Bell, David Onstein, Fabrizio Romano, Gianluca Di Marzio, and a couple of other names, and Chris Whitley, I think. But there is a name that is so recent, apart from Peter O'Rourke, and that name is Damesh Sheth. So Sheth works with Sky, and you people do love Sky. You always want me to speak about Fabrizio because he works with the Guardian, of course, and he also works with a couple of other outlets. But of course, you do want me to speak about Sky. So yesterday, Sheth was speaking on Sky Sports, and he said the rebuild at Arsenal is on. Whoever feels like Arsenal are wasting a lot of time, or Arsenal is doing things the way they did them 10 years ago, that is a big mistake. He said at the moment Arsenal are focusing on what you'd call a complete squad overall. They're having what you'd call a squad rebuild. They're having what you call a squad overall. So he spoke about Emile Smith-Rowe and the likes of Saka, and he said what they want to do is create some balance between this, in the squad, in the team, have some young players somewhere, and have some experienced players somewhere as well. And he actually said, if you look at what they have done with Mikel Arteta, elevating him from head coach to head manager, giving the likes of Saka a new contract, Tierney a new contract, Emile Smith-Rowe a new contract, that really means a lot. And he said it really depicts what Arsenal are trying to do at the moment. He actually said if you look at what Arsenal have done in the past 4 or 5 months, it's been so different from what we've been doing way back. Players living on free contracts, on free deals, players contracts running down without negotiations, this and that. A lot of havoc has actually happened at Arsenal due to mismanagement, and Sheth says this is what Arsenal are trying to do. This is what Arsenal are trying to resolve. Basically, what they're trying to do is, can we get the situation back in, at hand? And I think if you're gonna be honest, we are trying to move out some players. We are trying to move on some players. We are also trying to bring in some players. If we go by these standards, maybe Arsenal could go back to the levels we want it to be at. But the most interesting thing he said on that show, of course, it was very short show, just like I think less than 3 minutes, less than 4 minutes. So he said Arsenal are still having more signings coming in. They still have more players coming in. He said Lokonga is done, Nuno Tavares is done, Ben White is the next one, 100% confirmed. And he said more and more signings are coming in. Now, if I was on that show, honestly, I would have asked him, Damesh, tell me, just give me a hint, who comes in, who's coming in. But this is what he said, and I don't want to lie. I want to give it to you just like as real as it is. He said most signings are coming in. Arsenal expect more outgoings and the likes of Xhaka and the likes of Bellerin to Inter and a couple of others. And he said they expect more incomings, more signings as well as part of their rebuild, as part of their squad overall this summer. How about that for a mid-morning update here? In my studio. But of course, we're going to speak about Tammy Abraham as well. That is the update from Madneess Chef, speaking about Arsenal rebuild and more signings still coming up. So let us expect maybe we could have bigger updates in the week. Of course, yesterday Romano was speaking about this transfer window, and he said this week has been a little bit boring, and actually the word he used is, oh my god, slow. He said this week in terms of transfers has been so slow. He expected big moves, big money moves to actually happen, big transfers, big players to actually move from one place to another, one club to another, things like that after the Euros. But it's been disappointing. It's been so disappointing. Maybe the next week, maybe. But look. Yesterday, Sheth said if Arsenal emerge as the biggest spenders in this summer, don't get surprised. More signings are coming in. Arsenal could be the biggest spenders or the biggest spenders of in this transfer window. Obviously, you have PSG that have not spent so much money, but they brought in a lot of quality. Ramos, Gigi Wijnaldum, Hakimi, 70 million. Obviously, they brought in as well. They brought in Gigi Donnarumma as well on a free deal. So they have got three classic free deals. I mean, getting Gigi Donnarumma on a free. That is hilarious, isn't it? So, Tammy Abraham, time to talk Tammy. Right? Time to talk Tammy. So, the update I have around Tammy Abraham, and I'm really going to try to dive into whatever we need to speak about Tammy Abraham. So, the update I have around Tammy is Arsenal have notified Chelsea of their interest in the player. Chelsea do not have any problems with letting the player go. However, Chelsea have not received any official bids and offers from any clubs for Tammy Abraham. A couple of other clubs are interested in Tammy. The one leading the rest is AFC, Arsenal Football Club. West Ham is interested. Leicester City is interested. Brighton are interested in the player as well. But at the moment, there is no confirmation. There is no official bid. There is no official offer to Chelsea for the player. Chelsea would want to move on the player. Would want to move on Tammy Abraham, but the deal depends on a couple of on a couple of things. One, Chelsea do want to bring in a new striker. They either want to bring in Erling Haaland, which is proving very problematic. I mean, they're looking to offer in excess of 160 million pounds for Erling Haaland. And the problem is Chelsea do not want to put a release clause in his contract. Mino Raiola is saying, if you're taking my client, I'm his agent, you've got to put a release clause. After 3 years, someone can can pull out the release clause and take him. So Chelsea are not agreeing to this. They're looking at Raiola, as someone trying to use them as a pathway to a bigger stage. And Chelsea believe they're the maximum. They believe there's the ceiling. They believe they can be the ceiling for Erling Haaland. Look, Raiola thinks if you are Chelsea, you play 3 years or 2 years at Chelsea, you could go to Madrid as well. You could go to Bayern as well. You could go to a bigger club than Chelsea. And that is what Chelsea are not actually agreeing with at the moment. But to get to cut all the crap and get to the point, Tammy Abraham's deal depends on whether Chelsea get in a super striker or not. Remember, they have Timo Werner that is... Shouldn't say the word. That is wasteful. Right? That is so wasteful. So what they want is to bring in a prolific striker, bring in someone that can guarantee them around 25 goals in a season or around 30 goals in a season. And I think Erling Haaland can do that. If they fail to get Erling Haaland, they will try getting Romelu Lukaku. Inter Milan and don't seem really ready to let go of Romelu Lukaku to any club, be Chelsea or any other club. So there's a lot of dependency on this deal. Arsenal are still looking at Tammy Abraham, but again, the deal depends on whether Lacazette, Willian, and Nketiah leave as well. If they leave, then Arsenal will actually bring in Tammy Abraham as a backup player. Now, in terms of finances, this deal could be around £40 million, but the good thing, Arsenal will not need to pay this money in this summer. They can actually start paying that money at the end of the season. Because they would actually we would actually get him on an initial loan deal with a buy obligation of £40 million. Wait a minute, £40 million for Tammy Abraham. Now, Chelsea have only used the player for 2 years, or have only worked with the player for 2 years. They signed him, last season, part one, in the summer, part one, for £15 million. £15 million. And if you look at him, in his first season at Chelsea, he actually got involved in 19 goals directly, scoring 16 and creating 3 chances that actually turned into goals. So those are 3 assists. So around 19 goals, directly involved in 19 goals. However, last season it wasn't the best season for him, obviously, because you had Timo Werner and a lot of quality. There was actually taking place, at that Chelsea side. So the one thing you know about Tammy, or you're gonna think about Tammy Abraham, is he wants a move away from Chelsea. He wants a place where he can get more game time. Will he get more game time at Arsenal? It's debatable. If Aubameyang doesn't click, Tammy Abraham gets more game time. If Aubameyang clicks and becomes the beast that he was, then you don't have Tammy Abraham actually standing a chance to start ahead of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. At Chelsea, though, it looks like it's even harder. They have Kai Havertz, who plays as a false 9. They have Timo Werner, who plays as that 9, in that 9 position, and they have a couple of players that actually are far better than Tammy Abraham. And the problem with Tammy is he's not versatile, he's not flexible. He's a box striker. That's it. You could use him in any position as long as it is you can play him in a 4-4-2, in a 4-3-3, in a 1, depending. He is the striker, so he cannot actually work as a 10. He can't work as 11. He can't work as a 7. He is a striker. So Arsenal, looking at Tammy Abraham, has brought or has sparked a lot of reactions from the fan base. Many Arsenal fans think like, don't bring him at Arsenal. Don't dare bring Tammy and Arsenal. So we're going to speak about that just in a minute before we close the show. Look, one, we are bringing him as a backup player. Imagine you bring in Tammy and lose 3 players. Deadwood. You lose 3 Deadwood players. I think, one, that works for me. And look, he's not the worst. I think if he got playing time last season, enough playing time, he would be a better striker. He would be a better player. I don't think he's at that level of Aubameyang, but I think he's better than Balogun somewhere. Yeah, of course, you're gonna tell me, because when he comes in, Balogun doesn't get time, and we could lose him eventually. Yes, I do understand that, but Aubameyang is a risk now. We've got to not a risk, because that is so vulgar. But I think Aubameyang is a gamble at the moment. It's a gamble. Of course, gambling takes risks. Gambling, involves risks. So Aubameyang is a gamble. And what I mean when I say Aubameyang is a gamble is, think about it. Honestly, think about it. If we lose Lacazette and Nketiah, and you have Balogun and Aubameyang doesn't click, because that's the gamble. They're closing in. You have one shot. It either works or it doesn't work. What happens if the shot actually doesn't work? That's where we are. So it's a little bit difficult. I'll take Tammy Abraham. But my problem is the obligation of £40 million. That is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But I think, again, the reason you could justify, Chelsea could justify the £40 million. One, he's a young English player. Being the fact that he's young and English, that's already 25 million euros, right? 25. So he has a good resale value. That is another 10. That is 35. And obviously, he's played 2 seasons at Chelsea with in the Premier League. 5 million, 40 million. That is it. So I mean, I would take him. But I'll pay around 30 million euros. I would pay around 30 million euros or 30 million pounds, for the player, not 40. Arsenal interested. They love the player. No official bids confirmed by Chelsea, but a couple of other clubs are also interested in Tammy Abraham. And Damesh Sheth says Arsenal are expecting more incomings, more signings, including Tammy Abraham. I'll speak to you very, very soon. Have a nice day.